Hey everybody, Charlie Dobbins again here for the next group coaching call. And this one we're going to talk about what multifamily sponsors should do and what they should not do. Now, here's the reason why I think this is a very good topic for us to discuss for this group coaching call. Because many of you feel as though the only thing you have to do is go out there and find a property, get it under contract, and buy it. It's as simple as that. Well, what you have to understand is that you are building a business. That's the number one thing you're doing, is you're building a business. And so in order for those 3 steps I just mentioned to work perfectly, you need to have customers. You need to have people ready to invest with you when you finally find that deal and you have that deal ready to go. So the deal is the product that your business is selling, and the customers, your investors, are the people looking to buy your product. So you've got to work on both sides of the equation in order to make this thing work. So I'm going to show you what you need to be doing on a regular basis, building up your customer database while you're out there looking for deals. And many times, many new investors are only doing one side of the equation. They're only going out there and looking for properties. They're not looking for investors. You have to be doing both sides of the equation at all times. So what I want to show you first are some of the tools that you need to be taking advantage of in order to start to cultivate your customers through the process. Okay, but before we get started, as I always do, let me just make the notice that I'm a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. Get a lawyer. So what should multifamily sponsors, what should they do and what should they not do? I'm going to start by showing you something that one of my clients does, and then something that a person who is not one of my clients does. So here we go. Okay, let's take a look at this here. This is a multifamily investment trend report. This happens to be just for the spring 2016. Look who puts it on. It is Alex Chandan. It's just a company that does educates people as to what's going on in the multifamily world. Now, here's what you need to understand. I mean, it explains everything. Can you imagine what it would be like if you took this type of information and did it yourself and put your company's name on it so that you could start to use this thing to educate your investors as to why multifamily is good? You see, that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand. They think they're just going to walk up to a potential customer or a potential investor and say, hey, invest in my multifamily deal. Well, this guy may never even thought about investing in multifamily prior to this point. He doesn't know anything about it as an investment. Why it's good, why it's bad, what are the risks, what are the pros, what are the cons. You have done nothing to lay the groundwork. You need to start putting those types of packages together that have nothing to do with a specific property, but have everything to do with why multifamily is a great investment. If you start laying the groundwork now for that type of discussion, then you're going to be in great shape when it comes to finding people ready to invest in your deal. So here is one particular national report that you can go out there and grab and use some of the information on here to help educate your group. All right, where else would you go for this information? Marcus and Millichap. If you have not signed up for the Marcus and Millichap annual webinar on multifamily investing, you are not in this business. That webinar that they put on once a year, and then they do it every quarter, but the annual one that they do is so good that everyone in the industry listens to it. And you've got to have it. You've got to go on the resources section or the research section of the Marcus and Millichap website, log yourself in, give them your email, tell them you want to be notified of when the webinar happens, and then you'll get the information. And I believe that past webinars are recorded and posted on the Marcus and Millichap website. Now, keep in mind, the problem I've always had with Marcus and Millichap is to find that particular recording, you got to know where you're looking on their webpage. They don't make it easy. So get on there today, go and find that particular webcast and use that information. It is gold. Now just remember, every brokerage house has this type of information. They all have research reports that you can tap into. Red Brick Capital, even Fannie Mae, the government agencies provide all of this data. It's your job to go out there and get it and start to educate yourself on the market that you're looking in and what's going on in the multifamily investment arena, so that you can sound like a genius when you sit down and discuss the opportunity with your investor. Can you just imagine sitting down with somebody who wants you to invest $50,000 in their deal, and they can't tell you the first thing about what's going on in the marketplace? I mean, you're going to see how when I latch on to this multifamily information, I use it to analyze other people's property packages and what they're trying to sell you. And you're going to see that in just a moment when I show you what you're not supposed to do for the multifamily syndication. Okay, so this is an example of just one. We pull this one off, and it's a great one. You can all take a look at it. I will post it on the, you'll all have access to it. You can all take a look at it. And let me tell you, this is just one of them. Yardi Matrix. Go to Yardi Matrix. I don't know when you're listening to this particular recording, but coming up will be a national Yardi package, where Yardi will put on a seminar, a webinar, teaching you about what's going on in the marketplace. And the information that they give you is so good that you need to understand it. I mean, there are things out there, right now this recording is obviously being done on 2016. Parts of this economy are just, from the multifamily standpoint, are just so stinking hot. You don't want to touch it. And if someone comes to you and says, hey, I heard that the multifamily market is so stinking hot that we shouldn't touch it, well, you have to be able to educate the person, explain why that's true in some parts and why it's not true in other parts, and why it doesn't come to bear on your investment deal that you're looking at. So you have to be able to overcome these objections from customers and educate them so that they know exactly what's going on. So let me show you an example of what you should be doing as a multifamily sponsor, multifamily investor, owner, operator, syndicator, the whole works. Okay, take a look at this. This is from my buddy. This is his package. So he is an investor. He's just like you. He is doing the exact same thing that you're doing. He's out there every day looking for deals. At the same time, he's out there cultivating his market, cultivating his customers, and giving them some meat on the bones. What a great testimonial. What a great third-party collateral piece here that he's put together that he can present to potential investors, that talks about his company, talks about him, and talks about what's going on in the marketplace. And that's the key. So take a look at this particular piece of collateral. I'm going to post this also on the archive site, on the group coaching call archive site, so that you'll be able to download it and take a look at it. But this is exactly what you want to look at. With a strong 2015 behind us, multifamily continues to exhibit strong fundamentals in 2016. And he's put together this nice little newsletter, an eight-page newsletter that he wrote. And here's all the information. And he lays it out there so beautifully. Got nice visuals, nice graphics here, good logo up at the top of every page. It just really explains to the customers why you want to do business with this guy. Do you have something like this? Does your company have something like this, so that when you go to educate investors, you can just hand them over this information? Look how nice and how well put together this is. It's fantastic. It is great stuff. And, this guy is going to do well. There it is, summary, talks about who he is, how to get a hold of you. Just really great material that you are going to need to do in order to make this thing happen, okay? So that's what every one of you should be doing. And it's very simple. When you go out to the marketplace and you find third-party companies who do this type of research for a living, you can, I'm not telling you to plagiarize, but we all know how it works in today's digital age. But you can grab this information and you can create your own third-party report that you can give to potential investors. Everybody on your mailing list should get this handout. You can do it quarterly, you can do it annually, but you just want to constantly stay in touch with your customers, letting them know how smart you are in the multifamily arena. All right? So this is what everyone should be doing. Let me show you an example of something that you should not be doing. And if any one of my clients ever showed up and showed me this next piece of material, I would be scratching my head like thinking, are you kidding me? Why did you do this? You obviously haven't listened to a word I've said. And let me show you what it is. I got this particular property package. It was an offering, or an initial offering as he called it. And I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. You have to look at this. Now listen, I don't know who this person is that put this out here. He may be listening to this conversation that we're having right now. And he may be getting ticked off and thinking, hey, what's this guy talking about? Hey, if you got a problem, come at me. I want to hear from you, because I'm going to show you all the things that you should not have done in this particular offering memorandum. The first thing you shouldn't have done is overpaid for the property. Because what do I always say? The number one rule, I can fix anything on a multifamily property except one thing: overpaying for it. And this guy overpaid for it. And if you had listened to the offer writing workshop just before this particular group coaching call, you'll see the numbers just are not making sense right now in some of these places. Take a look at this one. This one happens to be in Louisville, Kentucky, built in 1982. We're talking a solid C plus product. 1982, folks, that's getting old. That's really getting old. You get repairs and maintenance numbers just to keep everything going. 126 units. 126 units for $10 million. You're paying $83,000 a unit. Go back and look at my Tarleton offer writing workshop package. That guy overpaid for Tarleton in Lexington, Kentucky. This guy paid more than the guy in Lexington, and it's not even close to being worth that. Look at some of these numbers. He's asking for another $2,000 per unit in capital improvements, another $2,000 per unit. And then over here, the closing cost is $2,500. Are you kidding me? This guy's getting rich off this deal. So it's going to be $83,000 per unit all in. Look at this internal rate of return. I can tell you, if you're one of my students and you've been listening to, if you're in the owner forum and you've been listening to the Monday kickoff call, I mean, you heard one of my investors the other day who's got an equity broker. And the equity broker, what they look for is a particular level of internal rate of return for their investors to get excited about a deal. Let me tell you, 14% is not an exciting number. This thing wouldn't even get a second look at these equity brokers. They wouldn't even care about this deal. All right. So let's keep going here, because I want you to read some of the things that he says. And I will post this one as well. Property is in a B plus A minus location, built in 82. I bet it isn't. I don't even need to know Linden part of Louisville, but I can tell you I doubt it. And look at this. It's 94% occupied. All right, so the value play is not going to be one of increasing the occupancy, because that's probably right at the market occupancy rate at 94%. If anything, it might be too high. It's being sold because the sellers are in their investment period. I previously served as an asset manager. Okay, yada yada yada. Then he talks about the property, one pool, a koi pond. Let me see. Okay, so look at, they put a large capital infusion to upgrade interiors 08 to 15, and another infusion in 12 to 14, 2012 to 2014. All right. Where are we going? Okay, take a look at this. The opportunity is to acquire an underperforming asset. Well, why is it underperforming if you're at 94% occupancy? What else? What could you possibly see in here that you have as a value play? I know he's going to tell me that the rents are too low. Well, that's just a knee-jerk response. That's what has to happen. But that explains why the occupancy is so high at 94%. Remember, this is an 82 construction. It's an older property. Property has been fully renovated, both on the exterior and in interior. Well, if it's been fully renovated, why are we capitalizing an additional $2,000 per unit? $2,000 per unit is pretty steep. That's going to put a lot. I mean, you can go in there and turn every single unit for $2,000 with new carpet and paint, and you know that. But if it's fully renovated, why do we need all that extra money? Okay, the current owners did this, they did that. We expect limited capital expenditures in the future. Well, geez, you just gave yourself $250,000 for the limited expenditures in the future. Okay, the current offering rents at the property are well below those of the competitive properties in the submarket. The property is currently the low-cost provider in the submarket. In some cases, renting renovated units at rents below those of unrenovated product. Okay, think about this for a second, folks. There's a reason why it's 94% occupied, and they just explained it right here. The rents are too low. You go up on the rents, the numbers are going to come down. Now, take a look at what he does here, and this is what I want you to do every time you see something like this being posted. Let me scroll down to the table here. Hold on, please bear with me. Okay, take a look at this rental analysis. Now, this is important for you to understand. Now, remember, the guy has told us, or he's about to tell us, I don't know if he told us this in this analysis, but because this analysis, as far as an investment goes, investment offering is incredibly weak. It isn't even an offering. I mean, I hope this guy's not really out there showing this thing. He's got to have a full and complete PPM and subscription agreement, and he doesn't have any of this stuff in this particular offering. But what he does do is he tells you what the offer price is, what he's buying this for. And then you'll be able to grab the NOI off one of his presentations, and you'll be able to calculate out what the cap rate is. Okay? You've got all three components of the algebra equation that is the beautiful part about multifamily. Cap rate, NOI, purchase price. Now what he's telling you in this rental analysis is that he can do better. He can do better than that. So what he's saying is, and this is, read this right here. In reviewing the current rent roll at the property, we notice a general trend of declining rents since the new owners acquired the asset. In parsing the rent roll, the following averages were determined. The focus was on the one-bedroom units because that unit type is most prevalent and provides statistically significant data. The one-bedrooms are prevalent, so we're buying a lot of one-bedrooms at $80,000 a unit? Residents at the property that leased prior to 2015 are paying on average $720. Residents that leased during 2015 are paying $711, a 1.3 decline, and those people in 2016 have declined even further. Oh my gosh. Would you put your grandmother's money into this deal that has declining income? It is important to note that 2016 does not contain enough data points to be statistically significant. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is 124 units. You're never going to have enough data points to be statistically significant. But it is interesting nonetheless. On the surface, this trend is not attractive. Oh, you say? And does not provide a compelling investment rationale. Really? Think about it, folks. We're trying to convince our customers to buy this deal. Does this type of wording sound like it's it's a deal you want to get into. Now, let me just say, I'm not telling you to lie. I'm not telling you to paint a rosy picture that doesn't exist. What I'm telling you is, don't get into this deal if these are the factors going on. Just walk away from the deal. You're not going to cure this problem of a declining rental income market. You can't do that. The economy does that, and it's already happening. Because think about it, and this is what you find. This is the type of nugget of information you find when you're reading the national reports and when you're reading these types of market surveys on a regular basis. Rents over the last 5 years nationwide have increased by 20%. That's phenomenal. But at the same time, incomes have increased 2%. That's a problem. Because the 20% rental income growth is unsustainable if your customers can't afford those rents. And here we're seeing it in this guy's report. So I think the guys are already overpaying for the property, because what you're going to do here is, then he goes on, he uses, I can keep going. I'm almost feeling bad for this guy. If he was my client, I would have told him, let's get out of this deal. Let's get that earnest money off the table. I don't want you in this deal. On average, rents in Louisville increased 3.4 in 2015. In 2016, rents are projected to increase 4.5, but we don't have enough significant data points to determine that. The question then becomes, why have rents decreased? It is our belief there are four factors. Four factors. Now, basically, he tries to come up with explanations here, and you can read them on your own. He tries to come up with explanations here as to why this is happening. And I cry bullshit on all four of them. It all comes down, the beautiful thing about multifamily is that it's a basic supply and demand solution. This property is declining because the market is declining. The demand is not high enough to keep sustaining that level of increased rents. And you're seeing it. Not only are you seeing it already in 3 months of 2016, where he says we don't have enough data points, but then don't look at just 2016. Look at 2015. Look at pre-2015. And he already gave us that information. He already told us that during that period of time, we're in a downward trend. Well, what makes him think that if we have more information on 2016, that we should have a higher trend? See, his own analysis, if you just look at his analysis with a skeptical eye, with a jaundiced eye, you will look at it and think to yourself, this is not good. And I'm telling you, folks, you can find great deals in Louisville, Kentucky. They exist. This isn't one of them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be looking in Louisville. That means you should be looking for the right deals in Louisville. This is not it. And this is not the type of offering package you want to. If you had to, in all honesty, write your offering memorandum so that it looks like this, you shouldn't be doing the deal. We're not here just to do deals. We're here to do good deals. This is not a good deal. Now, the other thing here is what you're looking at, and this is his justification for why his rents are so low. See, his rents are below market. Look at all the properties above him. Look at all the properties above him that have higher rents. Well, why are those rents going to continue to go up, but yours continues to go down? How do we know that these rents haven't been on the downside also? How do we know that? We can't tell by this information, but boy, that's certainly pertinent. But here's the thing. At $82,000 per door, where the one bedrooms are prevalent, that price is so high, I wouldn't touch it. And what this guy is trying to get you to believe is that if we go up on the rents, to this level that we're looking right here, like the Woodbridge and Hurstbourne Grand, if we can get the rents up to those levels, we'll make a ton of dough. Okay, but remember, we have the three numbers. We have the NOI, we have the cap rate, and we have the purchase price. Now, if we go back and we do our own analysis as to what this NOI would look like if we got the rents up to this point, and we calculated our new NOI based upon the higher rents, and then we use the cap rate that we're coming in at, now we can determine what the new valuation of that property is. And folks, if you look at some of these numbers, this guy's talking about $100,000 per unit is what these properties are now going to be valued at. I don't buy it. You can't be out there trying to sell me one bedrooms for $100,000 a unit. It just doesn't pass the sniff test. So just think about it. That's why multifamily is I get it. It's my most favorite form of business because it makes so much sense. There's logic behind it. And if you use these numbers and you're able to go back and tell the story, you can figure out, pal, this doesn't make any sense. You can't do this. So, yeah, let's see. Let me just scroll through here, see if there's anything else. Limited new supply. Well, that's still 1,700 and 1,200. That's a pretty good expansion. Let me see. What else can you tell me about this property? Oh, that's it, because none of these pages came through. Yeah, I went through this and I couldn't find. Here's his exit analysis. Yeah. Oh, this represents approximately a 1.6% compound annual growth rate over the projected 8-year hold. That's just not good. These guys, I know my investors want to see better than that. And it's Louisville. Louisville's a secondary market. This is not, it's going to be hard enough getting money into this deal in the first place because I think the numbers don't work, but it's going to be even harder when you go to put people's money into a secondary market. So, this is, as I always say, I mean, take a look at some of his notes to underwriting. Let me see. Okay, and not only that, but and this is where he really needs to get into it more. You're assuming a Fannie Mae loan. You're assuming a Fannie Mae loan. You're taking on additional. You're bringing it up to 80% LTV. They're using the supplemental loan to bring it up 1.2 to bring it up to 80% LTV. I'd like to see the terms on the assumption. What's the current? Well, he already gave you that 6.5. Geez, it just doesn't make sense. 6.5. Let me see if we did his acquisition. But he said it was at $82,000 a door times. I could get more into this right now, but I don't want to drag all of you down into this discussion. But there's a lot of information that you really need to dig into here on the assumption. Limited market rent growth, 3% annually first 3 years and 2% thereafter. I'm sorry. How can he make that assumption after he's looked at the last 3 years and it's declining? Why all of a sudden is it going to start to go up? I mean, folks, this is a type of mentality that took place in 2007 and 2008. And let me just tell you, you want to know how I know that? Because I was the guy doing it. Don't make the same mistakes I did. That's why you're my clients. You're learning a lot from me and the mistakes that I've made. Don't make this mistake. If everything is on a downward trend in this particular marketplace, don't think for some reason because you go in there and buy a property, everything's going to be on the upswing. Just don't do it. All right. Yeah, no, I just don't see how this one's a good one. So this is the example I wanted to give all of you of what not to do when trying to get your investors to put money with you. You want to do it step by step, logically, tell them what's going on with the marketplace, tell them why multifamily is good, educate them wisely and with sound and sage advice, and then don't try to stick them into a deal like this, because you'll lose every single time. Okay? All right, that's it. I get a little worked up on these when I see stuff like this, because I just want to reach through the computer and stop this guy. Don't do it. Don't do it. So that's my advice to all of my students. If I ever see any of you bringing this to me like this, I'll fire you as my client. This is not the way we want to be doing deals. This deal would not have been able to pass the cash flow analyzer. I can guarantee you that. So thanks, everybody. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. And until next time, this is Charles Dobbins signing off. Talk to y'all later. Thanks, everybody.